There is some brand new food in Epcot, and today I'm here to try it all. 3 new Food and Wine Festival booths have just opened with all new menus featuring some really interesting food. We'll be ordering every single dish, and I'll let you know what's worth checking out. We're about a month into Epcot's Food and Wine Festival, and Gyozas of the Galaxy, Coastal Eats, and the newly announced Festival Favorites booth have all just opened. If you're anything like me, when the festival first started, you were most excited to try the Gyoza booth, and then very sad to find out that it wasn't opening with the festival. Well, today is the day that we finally get to try those French onion soup dumplings. But before we make our way over there, we're gonna hit up Festival Favorites. Festival Favorites is located here at Communicore across from the Encanto stage, and it's taken over the space that used to house Grab and Goof. This booth was a very late addition to the festival. They only announced it maybe a week or so ago, and it kind of just appeared randomly. And this menu here is supposed to have different food and drinks that have been people's favorites from festivals past, although there's actually only one drink that I'm really recognizing. So on the menu, we'll find 2 different foods. There are potato pierogies with kielbasa, and then there's also a curry spiced fried cheese. In terms of drinks, there is a non-alcoholic frozen s'mores beverage, and then the alcoholic offerings are a seasonal draft beer, which I'm hearing is just a Schafferhofer grapefruit beer. They have 2 different wines, and then they have the famous Irish milkshake, which is of course the drink that I recognize. All right, well, here is everything from Festival Favorites. We've got our food, we've got our drinks, and right off the bat, that curry scent from the curry fried cheese is smelling very, very strong. The pierogies are looking like they might have been sitting there for quite a while. They look almost deflated. And we've got our drinks in the back, and I want to kind of get to them first before they melt. First, we'll go for this Irish milkshake, which has a Guinness Stout, Bailey's Original Irish Cream Liqueur, and vanilla ice cream for $13. Now, this here was always a favorite, and everyone was very disappointed when they didn't see it on the festival menus when the Food and Wine Festival first started, but don't be worried, guys. They have it now here at the Festival Favorites booth, and everyone always loves this, not only because they love the taste of the drink, but it also comes with a little souvenir cup that says Ireland that you could take back. And I remember when they used to have the Ireland booth over by the UK pavilion for the Food and Wine Festival, and I don't know what happened to it. In recent years, they just haven't had it. It's where they used to have the warm Irish pudding cake. It's kind of just disappeared in the past couple of years, but I'm happy we have the warm Irish pudding cake back in the America Pavilion now, and now we have the Guinness Bailey's shake now here at the Festival Favorites booth. But let's dive into this shake. Cheers. It's always delicious. It has a good vanilla flavor, it has a good chocolate flavor, and another thing I really love about this is that you could really taste the alcohol. The Guinness and the Bailey's flavor is very strong in this. Like, you would think, since there's also the vanilla ice cream, that they would kind of overload it with the vanilla ice cream and just kind of let that drown out all the Guinness and the Bailey's flavor, but no, you can really taste both of those flavors, and it has a really strong alcohol flavor, which when I'm paying a lot of money for a drink, I always like to taste my alcohol in it, so I definitely appreciate that. And man, every year I feel like this is a drink that I forget how good it is, and then I have it and I'm like, wow, that's really good. And yeah, the same thing is happening this year. This milkshake is so good. And refreshing. It's a warm one today, guys, so this is really hitting the spot. Our next frozen treat is this frozen s'more. It's a chocolate milkshake with marshmallow syrup, topped with mini marshmallows and a graham cracker for $5.25. Now, I believe they had this last year at Festival Favorites too. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. But I think they had this last year at Festival Favorites, and I think what I said was it didn't really taste like s'mores, and we'll see if that changes this year. The chocolate milkshake itself really reminds me of a Wendy's chocolate frosty, and I love a Wendy's chocolate frosty, so I think the milkshake itself is quite tasty. And I am getting a little bit of that marshmallow syrup. What I wish they did with this is maybe swirled some marshmallow fluff or something around the glass, and like kind of like, you know, like they like put some on the inside of the glass and swirled it around the inside. And then they took some graham cracker crumbs and kind of drizzled that on the inside as well, because really, I always say this, when you have a s'mores dish, I always like to have graham cracker. I need some graham cracker in there, and really the only graham cracker we have is this like little piece of graham cracker on the top. I want to taste that graham cracker throughout. And with this, you're really not getting that. You're just getting like the slightest hint of marshmallow. So yeah, this really just kind of tastes like a Wendy's chocolate Frosty. So is it bad in that aspect? No, but you can get, this is pretty much the size of like a kitty Frosty at Wendy's, which is what? I don't know how much it is these days. I think probably the last time I went to Wendy's, it was like $1. I don't know if it's still $1, but this is the size of a kitty Frosty at Wendy's, and it's $5.25. So if you're willing to spend that for a kitty size Wendy's Frosty, by all means, go for it. It's tasty, but it really, when it comes down to it, just tastes like a chocolate Frosty. So not sure if I would necessarily go for this. I think they have a really good chocolate milkshake over in Connections, if they still had it. Last time I was here, they had a really good Belgian chocolate milkshake. Actually, let me look if they still have it. Okay, yes, I pulled it up on mobile order. They have a Belgian chocolate gelato milkshake from Connections Eatery for $7.49. And guys, it is huge, it's loaded, it's jam-packed for $2 more. So if I'm going for a chocolate milkshake, and that's what I'm wanting here in Epcot, I'd say probably go for that, because I think it not only tastes better, but it's a way better value. But this is still, you know, it's still decent. I am getting pretty hungry though, so we're gonna move on to this food here, and I wanna start with the curry spiced fried cheese that is served with a mango curry ketchup for $5.25. Before we go for a dunk in the ketchup, I kind of wanna just try the cheese on its own here and see how it is. And I'm pretty sure this is gonna be like paneer cheese, so it's not gonna be like a mozzarella stick. It's gonna be more of like a harder cheese, and there's not going to be any type of cheese pull here, but let's see how it is. That's exactly what it is. It's more of like a paneer, halloumi, grilling, or even like a cheese curd almost, because it's like squeaky, and it's not like the cheese that's going to melt, but it's really good, and the breading is so crispy. It's fried to absolute perfection, and it's seasoned really well. That breading is really, really good on the outside there. I was a little bit worried because, to be fully transparent, I'm not the biggest fan of like curry seasoning. It's just not my preference. So I was a little bit worried about this. I was worried because it smelled so heavy on the curry, but it smells a lot stronger than it actually tastes. So I actually really enjoy the fried cheese. Now, maybe the curry flavor is gonna come from more of the ketchup, but the cheese itself is really, really good. I actually enjoy that so much more than I thought I would. Let's go for a dunk here in the mango curry ketchup now. Gotta get a little more on there. There we go. Okay, I'd say that's not even super strong on the curry flavor, not even really strong on the mango flavor. I was expecting more of like a sweet heat. Maybe I just didn't get enough, but to me, it almost tasted like a marinara sauce. Let me get a little bit more. Let me load this next bite up here with more of that ketchup. That bite I did get a chunk of mango, so there was definitely a little bit of sweetness. You just get a little bit of sweetness though, and a little bit of curry. There really is not too much mango curry flavor. It really tastes more, in my opinion, like a marinara sauce. I actually really, really like this. I think the breading on here is just making it for me. It just tastes like a giant cheese curd almost, a giant non-melty cheese curd. I think these are fantastic. I wish these were on the menu from the jump, because I would have gotten these a ton. And now we only have a couple months left of the festival here. But man, they're so good. But like you could kind of see, they're not gonna be your melty, typical mozzarella stick, but Man, come try these out. Our final dish from Festival Favorites is going to be the potato pierogi with kielbasa. This is served with caramelized onions and sour cream for $6. Now, I had mentioned that the pierogis were looking a little flat and deflated, and yeah, they were looking like this from the jump. The sour cream also looked like it was drizzled on like way before it was handed to me, so looking a little bit crusty on the pierogies here. I want to kind of get a bite with everything all together. We'll cut up this kielbasa. The kielbasa actually looks really good here. But I want to eat everything together. These caramelized onions look delicious. I love a caramelized onion. That's why I'm so excited for those French onion soup dumplings, which I think that's where we're going to head next. But we got to try these pierogies here first. The onions are good. They're nice and soft. They're nice and sweet. The kielbasa is nice and snappy. It has a great flavor. The pierogies, which again, I think they had these last year, and I think I said the same thing. They kind of just taste like frozen Mrs. T's pierogies, which there's not much wrong with that because Mrs. T's pierogies from the freezer section are still good at times. But they're not good at times when you're paying $6 for two. So they're just your typical kind of like freezer section potato and cheese pierogies. Now I do like the accoutrements that come with it and the onions and the kielbasa, so that kind of takes it up a notch. But if you're looking for a good like homemade pierogi, don't come expecting that here. If I'm gonna get a food item from this booth, it's gonna be that fried cheese every time. I think that is way better, way more different, way more unique. And I think that's the better option all around. I'm not sure if I would necessarily come to get these pierogies again. Hopefully we have a little bit more luck with our next food. Let's go to the Gyoza booth. Both the Gyozas of the Galaxy and the Coastal Eats booth are located kind of right between Test Track and the Creation Shop. And at Gyozas of the Galaxy, you're gonna find some fun, interesting, really unique takes on dumplings. On the menu, you'll find 3 different kinds of dumplings. There are buffalo style dumplings, street corn style dumplings, and what I'm most excited to try, the French onion soup style dumplings. There are also 2 alcoholic drinks. There is a wine and a pineapple colada. All right, so here are all 3 of our dumplings. We've got our French onion soup dumplings. These are actually looking quite delicious. We've got our street corn dumplings right here, and then we've got our buffalo dumplings over here. All 3 orders of these dumplings each come with 3 dumplings apiece. And I, of course, have to start by digging into these French onion soup style dumplings. These are pork and beef soup style dumplings with caramelized onions, sherry beef broth, onion and Gruyere soubise, I think I'm saying that right, a Parmesan cracker, and micro chives for $6. Now I have to say, I do consider myself to be an avid soup dumpling eater. I probably consume some of the most soup dumplings out of anyone from the frozen aisle at Trader Joe's. Those pork and ginger soup dumplings are one of my favorite Trader Joe's items. I always have them stocked up in the freezer, and I gotta eat at least 2 boxes a week. They are so good. And I just went to Din Tai Fung when I was in Disneyland about 3 times, and those pork xiaolong bao, oh my god, just incredible. So we're combining one of my favorite foods in like soup dumplings with another one of my favorite foods in French onion soup. So I don't see how these could be bad. We've got what looks to be like a thick oniony kind of broth, and then we've got our soup dumplings on top. And what I'm really loving that I see is this Parmesan cracker. It looks to be really good. These dumplings are kind of cracked. They have like cracks in them. I don't know if you could see. So I don't know if the soup has escaped or what, but I'm hoping this is good because it sounds like it has so much potential. All right, let's get some onions here. Let's get our first soup dumpling. And these are going to be interesting because they're beef and pork, which I feel like is necessary because pork soup dumplings are, I think, the best flavor-wise. And then you need the beef because it's supposed to be like French onion soup. My first bite. There's something that's throwing me off here with this, and I can't tell exactly what it is. The dumpling itself, the wrapper is nice and soft. I think it's the filling inside of the dumpling that I'm not really the biggest fan of. And I think, I was talking about the pork and ginger soup dumplings from Trader Joe's. I feel like these dumplings themselves, the filling, has a little bit of a gingery kind of flavor themselves that does not work with that onion broth that is underneath. Let me just try this onion broth on its own here.
I didn't realize it was
because the onion broth itself is really good. It has that good strong sherry flavor, that good onion flavor. That is good. I think it's the dumpling itself that I'm not the biggest fan of. And I think there was supposed to be kind of like melted Gruyere cheese in the broth as well, which I'm really not picking up on that much. I see maybe like a little bit of separation where there was supposed to be some cheese, but it's really not that cheesy. And I need a French onion soup to be like super cheesy. And this is not that. This Parmesan crisp, that's really good. It soaks up all that onion soup flavor and it tastes like burnt Parmesan cheese. So that's good, but I'm a little disappointed in these. I expected greatness, but I actually probably wouldn't get these again. I prefer just like normal Trader Joe's frozen pork soup dumplings. Moving along to these buffalo style dumplings. These are chicken dumplings with buffalo sauce, celery root puree, blue cheese cream, crumbled blue cheese, shaved carrot, and micro celery for $6. Now this sounds like a genius idea. They've kind of just taken chicken dumplings, cooked them, and then tossed them in buffalo sauce. And I don't know how I've never thought of this. It's just like a buffalo chicken dumpling. I don't know. It sounds like it has some great potential here. We got to go for a dunk in this celery puree. Try it out. You know what? That is actually delicious. The buffalo sauce is good. It actually has a good kick. The dumplings themselves are good. Now they're definitely probably just like frozen dumplings, but when tossed in the buffalo sauce, it kind of gives them a new life. And you know what I really like about this? That celery root puree on the bottom. It adds like this unique kind of creaminess that I feel like pairs so well with the dumplings and that buffalo sauce. And I also really like the carrots on top to add that little crunch. I don't know. I felt like these dumplings were going to either go one of two ways. I felt like there was no in between with these. It was either going to be really bad or really good. And I actually feel like they are really good and they're better than the French onion soup dumplings, which I'm surprised about. Our last dumplings that we have to try are these street corn style dumplings, which are chicken dumplings with tomatillo salsa verde, a street corn salad, cotija cheese, lime, crema, and cilantro for $6. Now these dumplings here actually have a nice crust because they have been pan fried, as were the chicken ones. So after steaming them, they have a griddle back there and they have a cast member actually kind of frying them up on the griddle. And I love to see that. So they should have a little bit of a crisp to them. And that tomatillo salsa verde looks really good. And I've been loving like kind of corn flavored dishes that they've been having at Disney. So hopefully these are good. These definitely look like kind of frozen dumplings. These almost look identical to the Trader Joe's ones, but hey, the Trader Joe's chicken dumplings from the freezer are delicious. Another frequently bought Trader Joe's item of mine. So let's see how these ones are. For some reason, it feels really weird to be eating a dumpling with sour cream. More weird than it felt to be eating a dumpling with buffalo sauce. The flavor is there. It has a good lime flavor from that salsa underneath, but it's not really giving me street corn necessarily. Mainly because there's only like a couple kernels of corn underneath. I wish they made these dumplings in-house and they actually incorporated corn into the filling instead of just having like plain old chicken dumplings, because I feel like that would actually be good and that would give more street corn kind of vibes. But there really isn't enough like corn on this dish here to give it the full street corn kind of vibe. And I love corn, so I really need like way more corn here. But overall, the toppings are good. I mean, once I get over the fact that I am eating a dumpling with sour cream, it tastes good. Like, it tastes okay with it. And I do like the salsa, but it just takes a while for me to kind of like get over, you know? So the flavor's good, but overall, out of all three of the dumplings that they have here at this booth, the best, those buffalo ones. Again, so surprised about that one, but if I'm coming back for some dumplings, I'm going buffalo. To wash down all of our dumplings, we do need a little beverage, so I went back and got this pineapple colada. This has white rum, Dole pineapple juice, and sweetened coconut milk for $12. This should be good. It's kind of like an unfrozen pina colada because we've got the coconut milk, we've got the pineapple juice, we've got the rum, and I hope it's strong too. Let's try it out. Well, this is certainly not strong, but it is refreshing. I'll give them that because it literally just tastes like pineapple juice. I'm not really getting any rum whatsoever. I'm also not getting any coconut flavors whatsoever. I was hoping as the coconut milk foam kind of melted down, that it would make this creamy in a way, and it didn't. It kind of just disappeared. So it really just tastes like pineapple juice at the end of the day, which again is nice and refreshing. But for $12, I don't necessarily want a cup of pineapple juice. We are moving on to our final new booth of the day, Coastal Eats. Coastal Eats also just opened the other day, and of course, they're going to be serving up a bunch of different seafood. On the menu, you'll find a lump crab cake, a seaside pot pie, as well as a Peruvian ceviche. The drinks here aren't really that interesting to me. They have a Sauvignon Blanc as well as a pomegranate cotter, which I have come to find out is just a pre-mixed cocktail made with vodka, cranberry, pomegranate, and lime. And here's a look at our final foods from Coastal Eats here. We've got our crab cake here. We've got our pot pie, our seafood pie. This looks so good. I can't wait to dive into this one. And we've got our ceviche. This looks really good. Great presentation in the coconut shell. I bet they had leftovers from that coconut soft serve that they have or had over by the seas. But they served it in this little coconut here. That's fun. So it's time to dig into all this seafood. We'll start with the seaside pot pie, which has shrimp, scallops, crawfish tails, and lobster bisque, and then it's topped with a puff pastry for $7.50. Now this here looks great, and I had something very similar on the Disney Wish on the cruise that I just went on at the Arendelle restaurant. They served like scallops and a lobster bisque topped with a puff pastry, and I said it was probably one of the best dishes I have ever had on the Disney Cruise Line. It was my favorite dish of the cruise. I was obsessed. It was so delicious. And this sounds very similar, just with like different seafood in it. So it should be really good. But I want to dig in and kind of show you guys what's on the inside. It feels quite heavy, so there should be a good bit of seafood in here. And we've got our nice crusty shell on the top. And yeah, wow, there is a ton of seafood on there, but it doesn't look like lobster bisque. It's like very kind of chunky and thick. It almost looks more like pimento cheese there, doesn't it? Can you guys see? Okay, on the bottom it's a little more liquidy there. They're very tiny scallops, as you can see. I see our crawfish tail here. Okay, there is definitely a good amount of seafood. There's a lot of seafood in here, but that lobster bisque looks a little questionable. I could smell that seafood. It is very seafoody. Wow. Ooh, usually you don't want your seafood to have a strong seafoody smell, guys, so I don't know. Let's try a crawfish tail here. Kind of tastes, it doesn't taste right. Both the scallop and the crawfish are extremely overcooked, tough, and chewy. And the lobster bisque doesn't have a great flavor either. I'm trying to get some of this puff pastry off here so I could at least like try this. Has some flaky salt on top, which looks good. Okay, the puff pastry on top is good, but I mean, that's kind of hard to mess up there. Who doesn't love some puff pastry? But I am a little hesitant to eat much more of the inside of this seaside pot pie here, just because of the smell, and I just don't really want to get sick. I don't know if it will make me sick, but I just don't really want to risk it, just because of the scent. The seafood's not cooked well. Again, it doesn't taste good either. The consistency of the lobster bisque on the inside is really throwing me off because it's so chunky and gritty. Not a fan of this. The thing it does have going for it is there is a ton of seafood in it for $7.50. There is a really good amount of seafood, so I'll give them that. But really disappointed in this one. Like I said, I had high hopes because of that dish on the cruise line, but Hopefully this lump crab cake is a little bit better. It's served with a Cajun spiced vinegar slaw and remoulade for $7.50. This crab cake here looks like it has a really great crust on it. It looks like it's been seared off really nicely, and I'm excited for this slaw here. It's supposed to have like Cajun flavors. There's some really nice veggies in this slaw. I've got a nice big piece of red pepper. It's not the best crab cake I've had, but it's also not the worst crab cake I've had. Now, you're not gonna get like big chunks of crab. It's a lot of like shredded crab, and I definitely do think there's probably quite a bit of filler in here, and there's not really any standout flavors. Like, not a lot of seasoning or... I like a lot of Old Bay in my crab cakes. I grew up near Maryland. I grew up going to Maryland a lot. My aunt is from Maryland, and she makes a killer Maryland crab cake. And of course, this isn't going to compete with it. And I didn't expect that, of course, from a festival booth. It's very average, even maybe below average, I'd say. So on to the Peruvian ceviche, which has mahi-mahi, shrimp, sweet potato, chulpe, choclo, and leche de tigre for $7.50. You know, at first I was like, wow, they give you a big old bowl of ceviche here. This is stuffed. And then I started mixing it and digging around, and I was like, oh, the bottom is all full of cabbage here. There's still a decent amount of seafood, but there's not as much as I had originally thought. And I had learned that some of these ingredients are traditional to Peruvian cuisine, because just recently I had the Peruvian salad that they added to the menu here at Connections, which has sweet potato and it has these little corn kernels in it, which I really liked. So that's why this is a Peruvian ceviche. And I'm actually not seeing any of the sweet potato that was supposed to be in here. I feel like is that a traditional ingredient to Peruvian ceviche? I don't know. I guess I've never had Peruvian ceviche to try it, so we'll see how it is. I'm trying to get on my ingredients. I gotta try the mahi, the shrimp. I want one of those corn kernels too. Compared to most other ceviches that I've had, it's not super heavy on that lime flavor. It's more mild, which for me, sometimes ceviche is way too heavy on the lime flavor. So I actually prefer this to some other ceviches that I've had. And I like all those veggies kind of mixed in there. I think the cabbage is really good with it. There's also some peppers. I think they might be jalapenos, but they're not like super spicy or anything. And those little corn kernels are really good in there. I think they like work perfectly. There's a good amount of seafood, not like super overboard. I really like the mahi in there. It's nice and meaty. This is a pretty good ceviche. And I think out of everything from Coastal Eats, the ceviche is probably my favorite thing. But all around, I'd say it's probably a weak booth. They don't really have any drinks. The food, 2 of the 3 items are a skip from me. So, not my favorite of booths, but at least we ended with a winner in the ceviche. Okay, well, we are done trying all of the new festival food that is here that just debuted in the past week or so, but there is still one more thing that I want to try here in Epcot today. Ever since the Food and Wine Festival started, everyone has been telling me that I needed to come to Connections and try this French onion soup burger. So, while we're here today and we still have a little bit of time, I figured today was the perfect day to come try it out. Here at Connections Eatery, you can find the Food and Wine Special French Onion Burger. This is a gourmet beef blend patty with caramelized onions and Gruyere cheese on a toasted brioche bun for $14.49. Now, you guys know just how much I love French onion soup, so I know you guys wouldn't steer me wrong with this one, and this isn't like your typical festival portion food. This is a full-sized burger, the full-sized burger that they typically serve here at Connections. Now, I'm pretty sure they used to have a burger pretty similar to this here at Connections when they first opened, and actually over at Deluxe Burger, they always have, I want to say it's around the winter time, a French onion soup burger that I absolutely love. That one's definitely a little bit different because it also comes with like a cup of consommé or soup to kind of dip your burger in, which I really love. I think that's like one of the best parts of that burger. And inside the soup there, it also has like melted cheese, so you get even more melty cheese. And just by the looks of this one here, I'm not sure if this one has enough cheese, but it surely has a ton of onions here, so we'll see how it is. Wow, you guys were not lying with this one. This burger is phenomenal. First of all, I feel like the beef patty is a significant upgrade from your typical Disney quick service beef patty. It's thicker, it's way juicier, it's cooked way better. It actually has like a semi-good char on it. I don't know. This beef patty tastes different. It is definitely different than every other quick service beef patty I have had at Disney World. It's so much better. You could tell the quality is an improvement. Those onions on there, oh my God. Those onions are so good. And there are so many of them on there. You can tell they have been caramelized low and slow for a very long time. They're not only sweet, but they have a good beefy flavor. And I was saying I might be like missing that soup dip that the deluxe French onion burger has, but I'm actually not, because I feel like the onions have a good beefy flavor and a good kind of like soupy flavor on their own, that I'm actually not really missing that soupy kind of vibe that when you get the deluxe burger, the deluxe French onion soup burger, that soup gives you, because you get it with these onions here. I feel like it could use maybe a little bit more Gruyere cheese, because I am getting some bites that don't have a lot of cheese, but then there are some bites that have a good amount. I could use maybe like a little bit more, but man, this gives you everything you want from a French onion soup in a big beefy burger. The only thing I might change about this is like maybe an upgraded bun, because this is the same bun that you get at like all the other quick service restaurants. So I could maybe use like a better bun, but other than that, you guys weren't wrong. This burger is serious. This is so good. I'm like just sitting here eating this, trying to think of a better Disney quick service burger that I've had. I don't know if I've had a better, I mean, deluxe is, I guess, considered quick service, and I guess deluxe at the end of the day is probably better, but in a theme park, I don't think I've had a better quick service burger. This is for sure one of the better ones. So if you're coming to Epcot and you're wanting a burger, I'd say this is a must order. If you like French onion soup like myself, this is a must order. This is absolutely phenomenal. And I feel like you could just tell, like, look at that patty. Look at how good it looks. Oh my gosh. I can't get enough. Well, that is going to do it for us here today in Epcot. I am so happy all of the Food and Wine Festival booths are finally open, and I'm so happy I finally got to try all of the new food here in Epcot. You guys know whenever there is new food at Disney World, I am always out here trying it to let you guys know how it is. So if you enjoy Honest Disney Food Reviews, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I want to shout out everyone over on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you to everyone for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.